today, well, tomorrow actually is going to be a crazy day for severe weather here. Something that New England and Mid-Atlantic states haven't seen in quite a bit. Let me get away that spoiler from for you. So today we have three marginal risks. So it's generally not that bad right now. We have one across Montana, Idaho. Well, we have one in Montana and Idaho. We have one in Michigan and Wisconsin and Minnesota. We'll talk about that severe thunderstorm in a second. And then we have this long marginal risk all the way from Florida to Indiana, so it's kind of a widespread one. Let's take a look at the radar here and see what's going on. There's some flash flood warnings in Atlanta, even with this maybe a severe thunderstorm warning here in Atlanta, actually. So if you live in Atlanta, I would be away from windows and stay inside so the thunder goes away. You know what I mean? And then we have, some dense fog. I mean, some air quality alerts for just the crazy amount of smoke we've seen in this area for the past couple of days here. I mean, it's not. You do see this, but it's very rare that you see it. I mean, this big. In 2023, it was more like Pennsylvania, New York, and Connecticut, and New Jersey. But now it's like all of the eastern coast and Michigan and Ohio and stuff. So that's a little bit different than what you would typically see here. Alright, let's look at the Minnesota. You can see we have a severe thunderstorm warning here for 1 point, a golf ball sized hail. Coming right into Silver Creek. So if you live in Silver Creek, Minnesota, please be indoors away from windows because these storms are starting to get serious here. We just got a new special weather statement here for 34 knots, which is like 60-mile-an-hour winds. So, you want to stay safe in that area. Alright, so let's take a look at the models for tomorrow. And by the way, this is the outlook for tomorrow. And yes, it's big. I mean, yeah, it's quite big. You don't see this every day in New England, so you definitely want to stay tuned in here. Alright, we did have a enhanced risk for Maine and New Hampshire and northern Vermont, but that was a bust. We didn't see anything in these areas except for maybe northern New York here, where we saw maybe a destructive 3-inch hail storm. So that was pretty bad, and I saw lots of damage reports here. What a hello, Dark Poya 01. How is your day going? If you guys are just tuning in here, tomorrow you should just stay tuned in because tomorrow is going to be a crazy day for severe weather in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast here. This is going to get extended. I can already tell with my own head it's going to get extended. It's just a matter of time till it gets extended here. So the models. Let's take a look at the 18Z H R here, because that just came in, like, literally 2 minutes ago. Sorry if I sound very deep today. I gotta get some water in a bit, y'all. So, yeah. This is very serious, so you may want to stay tuned in. So, here is tonight, right? We see, this is around 4, 5 a.m. here. We'll start to see some convection popping up in western Pennsylvania. And then after that happens, this starts to get way more severe. Some of these could be severe. I mean, again, we're gonna have to see here. These could be winds. And these can also be some flooding potentials up here in New York here, western New York here. That's where we could potentially see some flooding here. So yeah, we have to watch out for that. And then it continues, as you can see here, as it goes into Binghamton. Be prepared for some flooding tomorrow. I definitely think you can see some flooding tomorrow. We'll see. Again, there's one thing that could happen here. We can get smoke, and the coverage won't be as widespread. But I think the morning storms will be widespread. It's just unknown about the storms behind it. But the fact that we're already seeing storms in Minnesota is making me think tomorrow is going to be a little bit more high ceiling based. Whoa, I just exposed everything. Alright, so here is 9 a.m. You can see here. By the way, if you live in these areas, and all of these areas that are in the enhanced risk, you want to get prepared around this time, as it's gonna get bad out there shortly. So then around 11, 12, 1, we can see here, we have the first batch of storms. These are gonna be, I'm gonna watch these very closely. I don't know if they're gonna be good or bad, but we're going to have to see what these do. So we're going to see if these move into, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New York, and New England. Let's see. We're going to see how this unfolds. So this will bring quick 2 to 6 inches potentially. By the way, if I know I didn't go live a couple weeks ago, it's just because the severity of it was way offshore, a little bit more than all the models predicted, so I didn't go live. I was borderline about to. Everyone got a good 2 to 4 inches, alright? So if you're just tuning in here, we're looking at the severe weather threat for all of mid-Atlantic states and New England here. Hello Mom143, welcome back to the stream here. Tomorrow is going to be a little bit more of a bad day for severe weather. We actually have an enhanced risk. Let me show you that. Then we'll take a look at the models again. This is tomorrow. I know there's a lot of colors, but we'll go over that in a second. If you live in this marginal risk, that is a level 1 out of 5. Basically, storms are possible. Not severe, but they'll be strong storms. So that's for Chicago, Peoria, Illinois. We have Pikeville, Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky. What is this? Columbia. Those areas should just be alert and watch the radar. Don't cancel your plans, though. Now, the slight risk, which is for almost all of Indiana, all of Ohio, all of Virginia, all of West Virginia, and almost all of Connecticut, all of New York, and almost all of New Vermont here. That is where you want to stay vigilant and you want to watch very carefully, because I would definitely I wouldn't cancel your plans, but, just be hyper-focused on the weather. Now, if you live in this enhanced risk, now, this is a bit of a different story here. This is where the highest risk potential for these damaging winds are, where we actually already have oh my gosh, I'll show you this. We have a 45% wind risk already in play here. I mean, this is just wild. You don't see this every day up here, especially in Rochester and Buffalo. We did see it in Philly a month ago, actually, and it was pretty wild here. So this is going to be 60 to 70 mile an hour, maybe 80 mile an hour winds too. And if that were to happen, it'd be pretty bad. And the tornado threat for tomorrow is pretty elevated, but not super high. We have a 5% tornado. This could be hatched. We'll have to see here if storms become a little bit more stronger than we might realize here. And I think it could be. We'll have to see here. But there is a very high bust potential where these storms don't get their act together that well. And they kind of fall apart because of the smoke. But again, I don't know if that's going to be too much of an issue, because the smoke is going to be a lot less worse than what we saw, when we saw that other enhanced risk. I mean, that was like very bad smoke. I would not think, that this would affect it too much. Now we have the wind threat. Oh yeah, we already looked at the wind threat. The hail threat is a 5%. I'm not too concerned about that. Let's take a look at the models again, because I got a little bit caught off guard. Sorry about that, guys. So let's take a look at the ARRR real quick. Alright, so we're going to take a look, hyper-focus, in where that enhanced risk is. Let me zoom out so you guys can see a bit better of it. Okay. Now, you'll guys be able to see a bit better of this. Alright, so here is, where that enhanced risk is. Pennsylvania, if you live in Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey, Connecticut, Providence, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, you definitely want to stay tuned in. This is where I think the heaviest areas will be hit. So this is around 6 a.m. Yo, just joined. What is the chance for tornadoes and in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut? Well, that's a lot of states. There's generally a 2 to 5% chance that we could see a tornado given 25 miles of a location. But again, it depends on if those storms are going to be able to withstand themselves. And if they can't, then I don't think the tornado threat would be that high, maybe 2%. Alright, so this is 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m. This is around 1, 2, 3 o'clock. We'll start to see some scattered supercells develop in New York here, specifically southeastern New York here. But before we talk about this cluster, I mean, this is the cluster I might focus on a bit later in the video, or in the live stream, but let's talk about this cluster first. So this will form around literally 9 a.m. So it's kind of like an early derecho kind of type event. This will move into Toronto, alright, and then we'll start to see some, maybe a isolated supercell right in front of it here, just north of Toronto here. And this is where I think the most damaging wind threat would be tomorrow. And then this will move into New York here. But the thing is, we might have a little bust if this were to happen, where in Rochester, these storms might weaken into more new developed line would happen near Utica and Elmira and Binghamton. This would be a little bit more severe. And then this will start to move down into Scranton, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Ohio, Kokomo, Indiana, and Chicago. All right, so around 7 or 4 to 7 o'clock, this will happen. And then as we go into the night here, this starts to, it's still strong, but it starts to fizzle out a bit. We have like maybe a supercell or two along this main line, but then we'll get some gusty 40 to 50 mile an hour winds. The more heavier line would definitely have to be in Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Boston, based off this model. All right. But then in Ohio, these storms are still rocking just because of the daytime heating that's more down south here. All right, so then this moves offshore. And then the next severe weather risk comes next week on Tuesday for this area. All right, but now I want to hyper focus on Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts, just because I just want, and New York and New Jersey, just because I want to show you something in the morning, which could be pretty bad. All right. So one thing I'm noticing before we actually go into it, one thing I'm noticing in the models, even with the smoke in their models, even with the amounts of cloud cover we'll have tomorrow, it still shows bad storms. So I think we will get storms no matter what happens. They might just not be severe if we get that much cloud cover or that much, smoke. But I don't think the smoke would be too much of an issue at this point in time based off what I'm seeing with the progression of satellite right now. The smoke, the storm's doing pretty good in the smoke where I'm seeing in Minnesota right now. But let's continue here. So look at this. Around, this is, what time is this? Sorry, this is, what time is this is around 3 o'clock tomorrow. We already have our first couple supercells forming just behind the warm front here. These could be dangerous because these can produce tornadoes. We'll have to see here. And then just in front of that, we'll have lots of heavy rain, maybe a isolated severe storm right in front of this around 3 p.m. Then this is 4 p.m. Look at this. Look at New Haven, Danbury. Those are two severe storms here. Norwich has a severe storm in it too. Then it shows a very dangerous storm in West Milford, which is pretty bad. So, if you live in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, that could also be bad. So yeah, we have to be prepared for that. Hartford looking bad. These storms up here too look a little bit more worse too. Now as we move on here, look at off again, could go north or south. We'll have to see here. But we can see here near Old Saybrook here, we have this little hook. You don't typically see that on radar, but I mean, again, what do I know? So then we have another supercell near New Haven. Look at this bow right here. This is where we have to watch out for some strong storms here. And then this moves on around 7 o'clock. Alright, you can see here near New London, Norwich, New Haven, Milford, Brentwood, and what is this area? Hampstead, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. We'll have another line of storms coming through. And then little hooking storm up in northwestern Connecticut. Then this starts to move out here, and then it just continues. I mean, this is where the flash flooding risk is. I mean, these heavy rains, bands, and severe storms will just stay over the same area. Then we have that strong line crashing through. I mean, that's kind of crazy. We'll take a look at the total precipitation in a minute, but I want to look at the Rufus. I haven't seen the Rufus yet. The newest Rufus. I think it could be potentially bad. We'll have to see here. I'm not aware of the situation yet. So here is around 10. Alright, so it shows the storms a little bit more north here. Again, it could be more south, or I don't think it could get more north than this. I think this is more of a north model. But it shows a couple isolated storms in southern Connecticut, northern Connecticut, you know, Massachusetts, New York here, Albany, Schenectady. I mean, these storms could be severe again. We'll have to see here. Obviously, I'm not too concerned about these. Then they kind of just turned into a flood threat for Boston. And then, wow. I mean, this is something you don't see every day on models. I mean, look at this storm up in northwestern Connecticut here. You just see how big this is, big of a storm? I mean, like, I haven't seen anything like this in a plumb long time. I mean, this is like a Midwestern supercell. It's something you'd see in, like, you know, Nebraska, Kansas. I mean, it's something crazy. Alright, and then we'll get more. I mean, wow. I mean, just take a look at these clusters up in New York here. And then when this moves out, it will start to collide big time here with another front here. And then it just becomes a big quasi-linear convective system. Meaning that there's going to be lots of rotation in the storm, too. And then that moves out. So that's generally what it should look like tomorrow, depending on the Rufus. So we're not going to look at the Rufus precipitation, because I don't have access to that right now. But I do have access to the 8RRR precip totals. Now, don't get too caught up on where these precipitation totals. This just gives us an idea where it could happen. So, let's see here. Yeah, that's a bit bad. I mean, again, it shows a bullseye right over Rhode Island, New York, and Connecticut. I mean, I don't know if this is going to happen again. We do need more rain in this area, based off what I heard here. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're dealing with right now. I mean, we can see here, I mean, like, some of these bands in them have around 5 to 7 inches in them, as we can see here. But again, I'm not too concerned about this because it can shift more north or south here. We'll have to see. But generally, I would expect some sort of flash flooding from Delaware to Vermont, alright? Somewhere in this area will get hit hard, but I think tomorrow this hyper-localized area will get hit hard with the on-frontal storms and the backside storms. Alright, so now let's take a look at the national blend of models here. Now, this is where I think, this is a blend of all the models, so we can see what could happen. But this would show, you know, wants to show, you know, a good, you know, 1 to 3 inches across this whole area in a short amount of time. So we're gonna have to see how that plays out. And then here's the next system, which we'll talk about in our next live stream. If I go live tomorrow, again, I don't know yet. It depends how things go. But we most likely could be live tomorrow, and I just got out of my thing for some reason. Let me get back on, weather-wise here. We are going to have to wrap up the stream soon because this was just kind of talking about tomorrow. It's not like a severe weather outbreak. Plus, my voice hurts again. I have another cold, as you guys can probably tell. But, yeah, I mean, look at, DC, we have a little thunderstorm here. I don't know, that was not supposed to happen today. So, I mean, again, we could have a boom or bust. It's kind of just like that type of thing. So, yeah. So, now, since we talked about that, you know, I mean, tomorrow's just gonna be crazy. I mean, let's take a look at the satellite for the smoke real quick, and look at all the smoke right here. This thin band right here, that is heavy smoke, orange, yellow, red colors. If you look up in the sky, it look like that. And these are all the convection towers right here with severe storms and stuff. And, you know, again, this is going to be crazy tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a crazy day regardless. We'll get rain regardless. Alright, and yeah, I mean, we do have this special weather statement in Montana for half an inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. This should be severe warning. I don't know why it's not. But yeah, guys, I have to wrap it up. My voice hurts badly. Have to drink some water and get some stuff. So, yeah, I hope everyone enjoys their day. I hope they found this stream useful. You can always look back on it soon. And they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning right when I said they should. Alright, that's a good way to wrap it up. So everyone, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye, y'all. See ya. Sorry, I'll be live tomorrow, probably. We'll see. Bye.